Hello viewers. Topic of today's discussion is pyrimidines in nucleic acids. I hope all of you have heard of this term, nucleic acids. Nucleic acids are DNA, RNA, deoxyribonucleic acids, ribonucleic acids, and pyrimidines is one of the components present in the nucleic acids. Now let's discuss about the pyrimidines in details. First, what is pyrimidine? This is the pyrimidine ring. When the six-member ring in which the two of the carbon atoms are replaced by nitrogen. If we have to number this is the way how you can number it. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the pyrimidine ring and this is the way how we can number it. Now let's see what are the various pyrimidines which are present in these nucleic acids RNA and DNA. So the first one is uracil. As you can see here, this is uracil. If you have to number it, then it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. So at second and fourth position, the oxo group is present in uracil. This is thymine. As you can see, the difference between uracil and thymine is that at fifth position, this is fifth position. As you can see here, the methyl group is present at fifth position. So at fifth position, the methyl group is present. Therefore, thymine is also called as 5-methyl-uracil. And then this is cytosine. In cytosine, at second position, the oxo group is present, and at the fourth position, amino group is present, and therefore this is also called as 4-amino-uracil. So these are the three pyrimidines which are present in nucleic acids. Now let's see tautomers of pyrimidines. What are tautomers? Tautomers are the structural isomers in which the hydrogen atom is shifting from one position to another. So let's see here, the lone pair of electrons of nitrogen will move here and the double bond will shift towards the oxygen, and therefore this will be double bond, single bond, and H goes from nitrogen to oxygen. Okay. So as you can see, nitrogen, double bond, single bond, OH. So this is ketonic, keto group, and this is enolic group. So they are keto-enol tautomers. Okay. So here in case of uracil, as you can see, at second position and at the fourth position, oxo groups are present. Now the another tautomer will be where the fourth oxo group is present as the enolic group, the OH group. Another option is this oxo will remain as it is, the fourth one, and the second one as OH, as you can see here. So this structure is obtained by the lone pair of electrons will shift here and the pi electron density towards oxygen. So this is this enolic position, and the fourth one is where both of them are OH groups. Okay. So these are the four tautomers of pyrimidine. This is uracil here, four tautomers of uracil. And as you can see here, this is the position, this is the tautomer where both the groups are oxo groups. This is the tautomer where both of them are OH groups. And as you can see here, now this is pyrimidine nucleus. Okay. So you can name it as numbering I told you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is 2, 4 dihydroxypyrimidine. Okay. Now, since as I told you, these are the bases which are present in the nucleic acid. So out of these four tautomers, this tautomer exists in RNA. Uracil is present only in RNA. So it is present in this form. Okay. Now let's see this. This is cytosine. As we have discussed, in cytosine at second position oxo group is there. At fourth position amino group is there. So now we have to draw the tautomers for this cytosine. So one is this oxo group, as you know, this is ketonic group, so you can easily convert it into enolic form. So that is one of the tautomer, and here this is amine, and this amine can be present in the tautomeric form with the imine NH. As you can see here, the lone pair of electrons will shift here and the pi electrons towards this nitrogen. So there is double bond, single bond, the hydrogen from here goes to here. So this is NH2 single bond and this is double bond, as you can see here. Okay. So how you can write down the four tautomers? This is oxo group, this is amine group. So you can see here amine group as it is, oxo group as enolic group in the second tautomer. Then in the third tautomer, this NH2 group as imine group, and oxo group as it is, while in this tautomer this is imine form and the oxo group here as enol group. So that means one oxoamine, then hydroxyamine, then oxoimine, then hydroxyimine. So these are the 4 tautomers. Now in all these 4 tautomers, this is the one where the pyrimidine nucleus is there. So you can name it accordingly. Yes, it is 1, 2, 3, 4. So at 4 you have amino group. At 2 you have hydroxy group. So it is 4-amino 2-hydroxypyrimidine. Okay. So you can name the cytosine as 4-amino 2-hydroxypyrimidine, and it is this tautomer of the cytosine which exists in RNA and DNA. That means in nucleic acid, cytosine exists in this tautomeric form. I hope this is clear to everyone. Now move to tautomers of thymine. Thymine and uracil are similar in nature, similar structure. Only the difference is with the 5-methyl group. So you can easily write down the structure of tautomers. If the how to write down the tautomers for uracil is clear to all of you. So here both of them are oxo group, the ketonic group. As you can see, this is enolic ketone. So at 4th enolic at 2nd keto, then at 4th keto at 2nd enolic, and both at 2nd and 4th enolic. So these are the 4 tautomers of thymine. Okay, this is the pyrimidine ring. So you have to name it. Then how will you name it? Yes, it is 2,4-dihydroxy 5-methyl pyrimidine. Okay, and out of these 4 tautomers, this is the form which is present in DNA. Thymine is present only in DNA. So this form of the thymine will be present in DNA. Okay, now synthesis of pyrimidines. So if we have to synthesize these 3 pyrimidine bases, how we can do it? See, this is retrosynthesis. That if we have the structure of the compound which we have to synthesize, then what is the strategy? How we can decide that which type of reactants we have to use to synthesize it? Okay, so this will help us. If you cleave the molecule from here, you can see this unit. And if you can recollect, this unit is similar to that of urea. Yes? NH2CNH2. Okay? So that means if you take this part as urea and its derivative, this part, okay? So this is urea and derivative X. X can be OS NH2, and discuss later on that what are, if it is OS and NH2, then how you can name the urea accordingly and its derivatives. And then the second part is this 1, 2, 3. 3 carbon molecules, 3 carbon, 1, 2, 3. Now you can see here, this is urea. In urea you have the NH2, the lone pair of electrons are present. So these are nucleophilic centers. So we have to take a 3 carbon molecule in which the terminal groups are electrophilic in nature. So I have written down it like this, YCH2Z, where CH2 is this carbon and the terminal carbons are Y and Z, which are, as I told you, they should be electrophilic in nature so that the cyclization takes place. So they can be ketone, they can be cyano group, it can be ester. Okay. Now urea and its derivatives. As I told you, if X is O, S and NH2, then how we can name the derivatives? As all of you know, if it is O, then it is urea. If it is S, then it is thiourea. And if it is NH2, then it is guanidine. So the pyrimidines can be synthesized by taking any of these urea derivatives and this 3 carbon molecule. Okay, so let's discuss the synthesis. This synthesis is given by Fischer and Roeder synthesis. So the name is Fischer-Roeder synthesis. And as you can see, here we are taking urea molecule plus this molecule. This is ethyl acrylate. I think all of you know what is acrylic acid. CH2 double bond CH-COOH. This is acrylic acid. In acrylic acid, the H of the acid is replaced by ethyl group. So it is ethyl acrylate. Now when you heat the two, urea and ethyl acrylate, then what happens? The lone pair of electrons on nitrogen will attack on this carbon and the pi electrons will shift towards this carbon. What will happen? So now there is a bond between the nitrogen and carbon. Nitrogen is neutral and it has given its electron, so it will attain positive charge, And since the pi electrons shift here, so this carbon will have negative charge. So nitrogen will have positive charge, carbon will have negative charge, and now there is a bond between this nitrogen and carbon. So what will you get? You can see here bond between nitrogen and carbon. Since this nitrogen is having positive charge, so it will lose proton, and this carbon is having negative charge, so it will take proton, so it will get converted into CH2, and this is NH. So this is NH, this is CH2, and now so the A bond is formed between the two. Is it okay? And now what will happen? The lone pair of electrons attack on this carbon, and this bond shifts here. So the OT goes out as OET negative, ethoxide ion, and there is a bond between the two, carbon and nitrogen. Since nitrogen is neutral and it has given us electrons, so positive charge, so it becomes neutral by losing the proton. So proton from here, ethoxide ion from here, so there is a loss of ethanol molecule, and you get this compound, which is nothing but dihydrouracil. Why it is named dihydrouracil? If you can recollect, uracil is when there is a double bond here. Yes, in uracil there is a double bond here, but here there is no double bond. So in double bond, there is addition of two hydrogen atoms, and therefore it is dihydro. The two hydrogen atoms are present at these two carbons, 5th and 6th carbon. So it is dihydrouracil. Now the next step is bromination in acetic acid. So when you add bromine in acetic acid, this hydrogen is substituted by Br. So Br will replace one of the hydrogen. This is Br, and then pyridine. Pyridine is a base, and when we heat it in presence of base, it is dehydrohalogenation reaction. That means H from here, Br from here goes out as HBr, and now there is a double bond in between these two carbons. So double bond between the two carbons. So now this is uracil. You can write down the uracil like this. You can write down the uracil like this. So I hope this reaction is clear to everyone. And if this reaction is clear, similar reaction you can write down for the thymine. So just repeat it fast. We take urea, we'll take ethyl acrylate. I told you when we have discussed the synthesis, how we can synthesize the pyrimidine, they'll take urea and its derivative and 3 carbon molecules, 1, 2, 3, and these two are electrophilic in nature. Okay, so the lone pair of electrons will attack on the carbon, pi bond shifts here, so now there is a bond between the two, and then the lone pair of electrons shift here, OET goes out as, so there is a loss of ethanol, and a cyclic system is obtained, a 6-member ring is obtained, and then when you do the bromination, this hydrogen is replaced by Br, and when you heat it in presence of pyridine, then there is a loss of HBr, that is dehydrohalogenation, and you get uracil. Okay, so now Fischer and Roder synthesis for uracil is clear to everyone. Now we will discuss this method for the synthesis of thymine. What is the difference between uracil and thymine? The methyl group at 5th position. Now that means here there is methyl group in case of thymine. And from where this carbon comes? Here, this carbon. This carbon is the 5th carbon in uracil. That means if I have to prepare thymine, then instead of this H, I have to take methyl. So this I have done. See here, in this case, we have taken methyl. And the name of this compound is ethyl methacrylate. Okay, and this is urea. The rest of the steps are similar. Lone pair of electrons will attack here. Pi electrons will shift towards this carbon. So there is a there is a bond between the two, NH and CH2. And what is the next step? Lone pair of electrons move here. Ethoxide ion is removed from here. So what will you get? This compound. Okay. And then you have to do bromination. So bromine in acetic acid. So this H is replaced by Br. And the last step is heating with pyrimidine. So it is a loss of H from here, Br from here, HBr, and a bond in between these two carbons. And this is nothing but the thymine. So as you can see here, that in Fischer and Roder synthesis, the steps are similar steps are there. Only the difference is at the 5th position we have methyl group. I hope this is clear to everyone. And now the synthesis of uracil again. And now the synthesis is Wheeler and Liddell synthesis. In this synthesis, we have to take one of the reactant as sodioformyl acetic ester. So you should know how to write down the structure of this compound, sodio-formyl acetic ester. So without memorizing it, you can easily find out the structure if you remember the name of the compound, which is sodio-formyl acetic ester. So here we have to start with acetic acid. From acetic acid, you can easily write down the acetic ester. Okay, and then if you replace one of the hydrogen of the methyl group by formyl group, then it is formyl acetic ester. Okay. Now, you can easily write down the keto-enol tautomeres. Yes, how? This is keto group. How can we can convert it into enol? This bond will shift here and the pi electrons will shift towards oxygen. So, what we will get? This compound. Double bond OH. This is enolic form OH, but this enol H is acidic in nature. So, when you treat it with base, so you will get this. And this is nothing but sodio-formyl acetic ester. This is acetic ester. This is the formyl group. It is the enol of the formyl group. So it is sodium salt. So it is sodio-formyl acetic ester. And since we have to show the reaction with urea and its derivatives, so we have to orient the molecule in such a way the reaction, we can easily write on the reaction. So we have to orient it like this. Okay, easily you can see COOET here, COOET, then CH, double bond CH and O negative Na positive. So now we will start this reaction by this as one of the reactant. Okay, so here I have taken thiourea plus this is sodio-formyl acetic ester. Now you can easily write down the reaction. The first step, ONA from here and H from here, that is loss of sodium hydroxide. Loss of sodium hydroxide, the bond is formed here. Now if you can recollect, in the previous synthesis we have CH2 here. So we obtain dihydrouracil, and then to obtain the double bond here we did the bromination and then dehydrohalogenation by using pyridine. Now in this case we have started with the double bond in between the two. Okay, so double bond we have started with that reagent in which double bond is already present. So you get this compound. I think you can easily write down the next step. What will be the next step? Yes, it is the lone pair of electrons on nitrogen will attack here and this is ethoxide ion goes out. So ETO negative from here, H plus from here, so ethanol, and you will get this compound. Is it okay? Now what is the difference between this compound and uracil? Can you find out the difference between the two? Yes, this sulfur. In uracil, instead of this sulfur, we have oxygen. So what we'll do for this, we heat this compound with aqueous chloroacetic acid. The S will be replaced then by oxygen. So you will get uracil. So this is the method. I think the steps are clear. You have to write down the structure of thiourea, then sodio-formyl acetic ester. You have replaced the sodium hydroxide. So there is a bond between the two. Then you have eliminated the ethanol from here. So there is a bond here and this sulfur is replaced by heating it with aqueous chloroacetic acid. Now if I have to write down the same synthesis for thymine, then what will I do? I have to replace this hydrogen from methyl, because as you can see in these steps that this carbon will be the fifth carbon in the uracil. So for the synthesis of thymine, I have to replace this hydrogen by methyl group. So let's see this hydrogen by methyl group. Now this is which acid? 1, 2, 3, 3 carbon acid. So ester of 3 carbon acid, propionic ester, and this is the same part, sodio-formyl. So the name of this compound is sodio-formyl propionic ester. Okay. Now I think all of you can easily write down the various steps involved. First is the loss of NaOH, sodium hydroxide. So there is a bond between nitrogen and carbon, and then loss of ethanol from here. So you'll get this compound. And now the last step, we have to remove S by O to get thymine. So we have to heat it with aqueous chloroacetic acid. So this is the way how we can synthesize the thymine by using Wheeler and Liddell synthesis. Now synthesis of cytosine by using the same Wheeler, scientist is same, and Johnson. So this is Wheeler and Johnson synthesis. And here the starting material is S-ethyl isothiourea. So one of the reactant is S-ethyl isothiourea. So it is one of the urea derivative. So we have to understand the structure of this. This is urea. This is thiourea. So difference between urea and thiourea, all of you know, we replace oxygen by sulfur. Okay. What is isothiourea? Because you can see here the name is isothiourea. This is isothiourea. Nitrogen, lone pair here, the bond shifts here. So this is SH, single bond, double bond, NH. This is isothiourea. And if I have to write down S-ethyl isothiourea, then I'll replace this hydrogen by ethyl. This means S-ethyl means that ethyl group is attached to sulfur. So this is S-ethyl isothiourea. Okay, so now we'll start the method, the synthesis. This is S-ethyl isothiourea. This all of you know, sodium formyl acetic ester. So you can easily write down the steps, few steps. First, the loss of sodium hydroxide. You will get this. So now there is a bond between this nitrogen and this carbon, as you can see here. Then the next step, the lone pair here, ETO, ethoxide goes out. So to a loss of ethanol, and you get this. Now, if you can remember the structure of cytosine, you have NH2 group here. Yes. So here we want NH2. How we can get NH2 here? If I can convert this O into enol, okay, OH, and then into Cl, and then to NH2, I can easily do it. Yes, you can easily do the, if you have the Cl group here, the chloro group here, you can easily convert it into NH2 by treating it with ammonia. How we get chloro group here? Chloro group, if we take the enol form of this, then it can be easily converted into chloro group. How? The nitrogen lone pair will shift here. The double bond will shift here. So this is N single bond OH. This is the enolic form, and then it get converted into Cl. So this step takes place by using PoCl3, phosphorus oxychloride. So when we treat it with phosphorus oxychloride, this first get converted into enol form, which then get converted into chloro. Okay. Now you can easily replace this Cl by NH2 by treating it with ammonia. So when you treat it with ammonia, the Cl gets converted into NH2. Now how you can convert this compound into cytosine? What is the difference? Here we want oxo. So we have to replace the sulfur by oxygen, which can be done by using dilute mineral acid. So when you treat it with dilute mineral acid, this group is replaced by O. This is enolic form, but you know in the cytosine the ketonic form exists. So it will get converted into ketonic form. So a fast recap, I show this, all of you know how to write down this structure. This also you know how to write down the structure. Then the loss of sodium hydroxide to give this compound. Then the loss of ethanol to get the cyclic structure. Then to get the chloro group here, we have to treat it with phosphorus oxychloride. So chloro group will come here. Then you treat it with ammonia. Then Cl will get converted into NH2. And when you treat it with dilute mineral acid, this part gets converted into OH, which is the enolic form, and enolic form then converted into the ketonic form, as this is the form which is present in the nucleic acid. So this is the way how we can synthesize the cytosine. Now another way to synthesize uracil. So here we have taken malic acid. This is malic acid. We have taken malic acid. When we heat the malic acid with fuming sulfuric acid, we get carbon dioxide, water, and this is formyl acetic acid. You can see this is acetic acid. In acetic acid, this at second position, the hydrogen is replaced by formyl group. So the name is 2-formyl acetic acid. So this is 2-formyl acetic acid. Now this part then will react with urea. So urea is one of the starting material, and the second starting material is generated by malic acid. So malic acid gets converted into 2-formyl acetic acid. Now you can easily write down the reaction. Lone pair of electron will attack on the carbon and double bond will shift it towards the oxygen. And H from here, OH from here goes out as water molecule. So here water molecules, now there is a bond between the two. Okay, so how you can write down? So bond between the two like this. Here there is a bond between the two, and this negative single bond with O negative. here there is a positive charge, so there is a loss of proton from here, and here oxygen has a negative charge, so you'll get OH. And what will be the next step then? Again dehydration, loss of water molecule, and you get this uracil. Sulfuric acid is a dehydrating agent, so helps in the removal of water molecule, and you get uracil. So this is the way, another way to synthesize uracil. Then next, synthesis of thymine. How we can synthesize thymine? This is urea. Now the name of this compound, if you can see 1, 2, 3. This is propanoic acid, and at second position cyano group is there. So it is 2-cyanopropanoic acid. If you can recollect, in the starting I told you that when we have to synthesize it, we take synthesize the pyrimidine rings. We have to take one unit as, or one substrate as urea and its derivative, and another substrate as 3 carbon compounds, where the terminal groups are the electrophilic in nature. So you can see here, this is electrophilic in nature, this is electrophilic in nature, cyano group, acidic group, and this methyl, the fourth methyl, is the methyl of the thymine. It is outside the pyrimidine ring. Okay. So acetic anhydride, again a dehydrating agent, helps in the removal of the water molecule. So H from here, OH from here goes out, and now there is a bond between the nitrogen and the carbon. So what will you get? This compound. Okay. Now you treat it with hydrogen and platinum. This is catalytic reduction, and when you do the catalytic reduction, the cyano group get converted into CH2NH2. So you'll get CH2NH2. Okay. So NH2 is here, NH2 is here. So what will happen? There is a loss of ammonia molecule. Okay. And one hydrogen from here and hydrogen from here goes out. Dehydration, dehydrogenation, and here you will get double bond. So this is loss of ammonia and dehydrogenation, and you get double bond, the thymine molecule. Okay. So quick recap, urea plus 2-cyanopropanoic acid, loss of water molecule as acetic anhydride is used, which is an dehydrating agent to give this compound, and then catalytic reduction will get converted cyano into CH2NH2, and then the loss of ammonia and dehydrogenation to give thymine. So this is one of the way by which we can synthesize thymine. And now the synthesis of cytosine. Another method to synthesize cytosine. Now this compound, all of you have heard of acetyl. You have done this in case of aldehydes, compounds, carbonyl compounds, aldehydes, that the aldehydes can easily be converted into acetyl. As you can see here, OET twice, these are acetyls of aldehydes, CHO, CHO. If here there is acid, COOH, COH, then what will you get? What is the name of this compound? COOH, COH and CH2. This is malonic acid. Okay. So when there are aldehyde groups here, then it is malone dialdehyde. Okay. And since it is the acetyl of that, so the name is malone dialdehyde acetyl. So this is the compound. Then you treat it with hydroxylamine hydrochloride. Hydroxylamine is always present in the form of hydroxylamine hydrochloride. So this will help you in giving isooxazole. This is isooxazole, a 5-member ring with oxygen and nitrogen. So this is isooxazole. Loss of this HCl goes out as HCl, and the 2 ethoxide from here goes out as ethanol. You can easily write down the reaction. The 2 hydrogen from here and 2 OET from here goes out as 2 molecules of ethanol, and there is a double bond between CH and nitrogen. As you can see here, nitrogen and C, there is a double bond. Then similarly here, the H from here and OET from here goes out as OETH, and then to form the double bond, this H and OET goes out as OET, ethanol. So for 2 ethanols from these 2 hydrogens from nitrogen, and this as 2 ethanol, 1 hydrogen, 1 ethanol, 1 ethoxide ion. So ethanol from oxygen, and 1 this hydrogen and 1 OET to 4th ethanol, and you will get this compound isooxazole. And then when you treat it with diethyl sulfate in presence of sodium hydroxide, there is a cleavage of this molecule, and you get this compound. How to write down the structure? How to name the compound rather? This is acrylonitrile. This compound is acrylonitrile, and if I label the carbon, this is alpha carbon, this is beta carbon, and at beta carbon we have ethoxy group. So it is beta ethoxy acrylonitrile. This is the name of the compound. Okay. And now we will use this as it. These are the ways by which we have generated the 3 carbon molecules, and then we treat it with the urea and its derivatives. So this is urea. This is the compound which we have generated just now. So how the reaction take place? The lone pair of electrons will attack on the carbon, and this go down the ethoxide ion, nitrogen giving electrons, so positive charge here. So it lose proton and ethoxide ion from here, so loss of ethanol. Then again the lone pair of electrons will attack here, and the double one of the pi bond will shift towards the nitrogen. So here there will be nitrogen, single bond, carbon, double bond, nitrogen. Nitrogen will have negative charge. This nitrogen will have positive charge. So it will lose proton. It will get proton. So you will get imine. So what will you get? As you can see here, you will get, there is a bonding here, and you will get imine here. This is imine. So the reaction takes place in presence of sodium butoxide. So there is a loss of butanol, loss of ethanol, and you get this compound. And you know that from this how we can get this cytosine. This is the tautomeric. So this get converted into this. Lone pair of electrons will shift here, and the pi electrons will shift here. So the double bond, single bond, and NH2. So this is cytosine. So these are the ways by which we can synthesize these pyrimidines which are present in the nucleic acids. And now we will discuss the resonating structures of pyrimidine. This is pyrimidine ring. The pi electrons will be shifting towards the nitrogen, as the nitrogen is more electronegative. So nitrogen will have negative charge, and the electrons are moving away from this carbon. So this carbon will have positive charge. So you can see here the carbon will have positive charge, and here the nitrogen is having negative charge. Now this pi electron density will move here. So what will happen? Since electrons are moving here, so the positive charge, this is positive charge, electrons are coming, so it become neutral. So there is a pi bond here, there is a sigma bond, and here since the electrons are moving away from this carbon, fourth carbon, so it will attain positive charge. So you can see here, this is double bond, single bond with positive at the fourth carbon. Then what will happen? These pi electrons will shift here. So now there will be one more bond, that is pi bond. This is single bond, and there will be positive charge here at the 6th carbon. So this is 6th carbon, and now this negative charge will come here, and you will get this pyrimidine. So these are the resonating structures. From resonating structures, you can conclude about the reaction shown by the pyrimidines. As you can see here, due in the resonance, you have seen it is a positive charge which is delocalized over the ring. So this nitrogen has deactivated the ring or reduces the electron density on the ring, and therefore the attack of the electrophilic reagent will be difficult. Okay, so since the ring is deactivated, and hence the attack of the electrophilic reagent, because electrophilic reagents are the reagents which are electron loving, and since the ring become deactivated, the electron density is reduced, so the attack of the electrophilic reagent will be difficult. But if it take place, then can you see that at which position it can take place? Yes. You can see in these resonating structures, here the positive charge comes at 2nd position, here positive charge comes at 4th, and here at 6th. And at 1st and 3rd position we have nitrogens. So the only position left is the 5th position where there is no positive charge. That means that if electrophilic reagent attacks, then it is the 5th position which will be attacked, as it has the greatest electron density. So from the resonating structures, you can clearly suggest or conclude that the electrophile attack is difficult, but if it takes place, then it is the 5th position where the electrophile will attack. Now the attack by the nucleophilic reagents at position 2nd, 4th and 6th are facilitated. As you can see by the resonance, the positive charge appears at these positions. So these positions can be easily attacked by the nucleophilic reagents. So chlorine atoms at 2nd, 4th or 6th are readily replaced by OH groups or NH2 groups. So this is all about the pyrimidines. If you want to study the details of the purines and nucleic acids, you can watch my videos on these topics. Thank you for watching.